So, welcome, please subscribe. But we were talking about Jehovah and the elders showing up at my house. I mean, they left, my boyfriend was there. That's good. I'm like, okay, this is great. But like I was saying, I absorbed all this information like a sponge. I am reading things you would never geometry, mathematics, science, history, books about dystopia, novels, because they don't like you reading fiction, and they don't like you reading nonfiction unless it's the society's literature, the organization that speaks for Jehovah. And Jehovah's their version of God. But ask any rabbi, he'll say Jehovah's a mistranslation. That's not the name of God. You see, that's why reading's important. So I'm just doing my life. I live my life. A year and a half go by. I've never been to meetings. I have no desire to go because everything they said there was a blatant lie and a fallacy and made up. Very little of it is actually biblical. If you go back and you read different translations of the Bible, ones that they haven't sliced and diced and made to fit their worldview, you'll realize that they have taken and put in a lot of stuff out of the Bible. But regardless of your beliefs, the system's to try to help people not be trapped by the organization. That is my goal with these videos. I'm going to continue to make them when new light comes onto me. I'm joking. But yeah, check out the Four Corners documentary from the Australian Broadcasting Channel as well. Definitely encourage people who are interested in joining the Jehovah's Witnesses to watch that. People who are former Jehovah's Witnesses to watch that. Just watch it. It'll help. They encourage people to lie to police officers too, but I think I've put up a video before about that. So I continue to live my life. It's been a year and a half. I go over to my sister-in-law's house. She's not a Jehovah's Witness. I'm just sitting on the front porch, smoking a cigarette. Two elders pull up. Mind you, their wives are in the car too, so I'm thinking, what is going on? Why have they just came out of nowhere? Unexpectedly, to harass me. That's their job. I'm in the witness protection program from the Jehovah's Witnesses. They walk up and ask me, are you a homosexual? I'm like, no. I mean, I am, but it's none of their damn business. No. Do you smoke? No, I do not. And because they've only got, I guess, one person saying these things, and that person happens to not be a witness, they don't use it. But then a couple of days later, I go home and I write up a nice long letter to them. Very nasty letter. It says, I am a pagan. I do not believe a word that the organization says. I believe you all are compulsive and compulsory liars, and that you do not speak for any divine being whatsoever. I tell them that I wish to be disassociated from their organization, no longer to wish to be known as a member, and to take my name, my deceased mother's names, and my great aunt's name, and my grandmother's name off of all their documents and paperwork, which I think they're required to do by law, but they won't. They don't follow the law. They answer to a higher power. And that's the governing body, not God. But ask any disfellowship person and they'll tell you. I am not disfellowshipped, though. I'm worse. I am far worse than being disfellowshipped. I went straight from being a publisher, or not in good standing, something like that, to being an apostate. Because the only thing worse than being disfellowshipped is to disassociate yourself with a letter. And I did that. Do I feel special that I did that? I definitely do. Do I care that I did it? At this point, not really, because it's been 13 years, and it's just the way it is. But a lot of the literature I read, or JW.org, the stuff they put out, this governing body stuff, gives me the creeps, makes me cringe so bad, because they can't even pronounce their words properly. And I'm talking about, I think it's the president. I don't remember, Steve something or other. He doesn't know how to talk. He says, Jehovah says. You're speaking for God. You're not a prophet. The prophethood, prophecy isn't a thing anymore, according to the Bible, mind you. I love the Bible. Don't like Christians so much. Most of them do not adhere to it. But like I said before in my previous video, I've met Christ-like people who are pretty close to being Christ-like. So I wrote that letter, and you know what? Never heard anything from them again. They don't show up. I've also had people commenting on my videos saying really, really horrible Jehovah's Witness lies that I've already heard like 1,000 times. They have a propaganda machine, and that is the supreme goal of the organization. It's like a spider's web. They wait for people to be emotionally distraught, to be at the lowest point of their lives, and then they do their canvas sweeps through neighborhoods methodically. Boom, boom. They actually keep index cards of all the maps of the little neighborhoods that they have, and they work through it frequently. I think they try to aim for once a year or once every 6 months, depending on the congregation. It's creepy. Seriously, seriously creepy. I didn't realize how creepy it was until I'd actually left and I became an outsider to that very closed and brutal system. And I look in and I'm like, wow, I was involved in that creep factor. One of the things they will use is emotional blackmail. Their goal, well, not the average Jehovah's Witness, but the goal of the organization as a whole is to take you and separate you from your family and your friends, anyone that they classify as worldly, and that is anyone who is not a Jehovah's Witness. If you're not going to meetings and you're not a publisher or you're not associating with the organization, then you're worldly. One of the things that they did to me when I was leaving is they pulled all of my family structure away. My great uncle, my cousins, because they were all elders, pioneers, and they act like you're dead. A couple months ago, I actually ran into a brother that I classified as a friend at Walmart. He was working there. He was working on duty. I asked him a question. Complete silent treatment. I'm thinking, wow, I must be a ghost. Me, I just walked away. I'm like, if this guy wants to be like this, good for him. But if I did that to a customer, anywhere I've worked, I would be fired immediately. That is the epitome of disrespect. And obviously, he didn't need his job, right? I mean, he can just leave and find another one. Jehovah will provide. But yeah, it's another thing I realized. I'm reading a book now. It's about menticide, which is wiping of the mind and brainwashing. The meetings, the assemblies, the conventions. The assemblies and conventions are very important. There's a reason why in human history mass rallies, politically or religiously, have had so much power. It works people up into an emotional frenzy. When you are in an assembly and you're leaving, you almost have an ecstatic or a euphoric state. That's a form of brainwashing. It is. I mean, it is. One time down in Florida, I was going out with an elder who was not going out, but I was going out to do some calls on some sisters, or a sister who was in a nursing home because she'd had a stroke. I'm with this elder. We go in. I mean, I'm sitting there talking. We're talking, and the sister's had a stroke. She's obviously going to be passing away shortly. He looks at me. She's in a coma. He looks at me and says, "You know, she had a stroke because she was really, really dirty." And I'm thinking to myself, I've never met this woman. I wasn't part of this congregation. But from what I could tell, she seemed to be a really sweet person. Busybodying. People will say a lot of horrible things about each other in the congregations. It's just the way it is. I mean, but that's any organization, but I think it's kind of tuned up because they have the big brother is watching in this situation, or in this case, Jehovah is watching. There is a spy system in place. If they catch you at a bar, like driving by and they see you coming out of a bar, hello, elder. Well, they don't call him that, but they're like, hello, brother John Smith. I just saw brother so-and-so out at the bar here. They even had enough nerve to tell me that my brother, who wasn't a Jehovah's Witness, was coming out of a gay bar. Like, how is that any of your business? He's not a part of this organization. I don't care. I will continue to make videos, but I can't guarantee you how fast they'll be made. But I really greatly appreciate you watching this, and feel free to subscribe. Thank you. Spread the message. We need to try to keep as many people from falling into this spider web of a trap as we can. God bless you. May the gods bless you, regardless of your belief system. May you find peace and compassion and love for everyone. And always, always forgive.